Okay, welcome back to the Corner Movie Review Hours, and we'll be going back to Alien Earth Episode 6. And this one began, they didn't really begin, but this one started off with Wayland Yutani versus Cavalier in their scheduled lawyer or law meeting to decide what will happen to the specimens that crashed into the Prodigy territories. And in this one, I think that was Yutani, right? Yutani was totally unprepared. In the battle for the creatures that were held by Prodigy at that moment, Wayland Yutani felt every argument she brought up, every point, basically every point she made was basically inconsequential. She did not have any Hail Mary, any trick up her sleeve, any hidden agenda, any hidden weapon she could use to get Cavalier to do her bidding. She was basically at his mercy, and that was pitiful in a way. Another thing is the government of the five, the attorney or the lawyer they sent to oversee the proceedings. From the way from the way he acted and from the way he behaved, I don't really think the government has any real power. I think it's just an eye service institution, because the real power is with these trillionaires and billionaires anyway. Because the way he was acting, like he's just a moderator for moderating sake. He has no real power to calm down or to decide proceedings. Basically, it's going to let them fight it out, and whoever comes out on top, that's basically going to be what they are going to follow. And Cavalier was disrespectful. He was himself, basically putting his legs on the table, calling on it, talking about the species. I even thought there would be some element of secrecy, maybe to not let the government know that they are indeed aliens on Earth. But Cavalier was just saying it so willingly, so like, these guys are the ultimate power here, and the government, whatever that government is, I don't think they have any real power there. And for Yutani, it was pitiful. She had no, like I said, she had no Hail Mary. Her emotions were completely on display. There was no guardedness. There was nothing. There was no guile behind her. She was basically an open book for Cavalier to read, and that was, for someone that is like years younger than you, I think it's not supposed to be so. It is not supposed to be so. Now, another thing is for Cavalier, how did he make his wealth and how did he make his name? Because the story of the Wayland Yutani spaceship is that they've been in space for like 65 years. And in that time frame, I don't think Cavalier was alive, or even if he was alive, because I don't think Cavalier was alive basically when they went out into space. So how did he make his money and his fame in that short amount of time, and how did he get in contact with Petrovich, the guy who betrayed everyone on the Wayland Yutani airspace? Because this has not been explained. This guy looks way younger than 65 years, except he's doing some ridiculous stem cell treatments or something to keep himself younger. But he's way younger than 65. And what did he do to make him rise in that short amount of time? And how did he get in contact with guys who are on a spaceship galaxies away to convince Petrovich? Like, maybe he hacked into their relay messages to Earth when they were talking to one of their space stations on Earth or something. But I still don't know. That one was unexplained. They just threw it in, and we are just taking it because we don't know what has happened there. But how did Cavalier make his wealth, and how did he contact Petrovich? Those are just one of the two questions I'm asking from that sequence from the last episode, and from what we are seeing in this episode, because he had a lot of money. He has a real shitload of money. Now, Moro versus Kesh in the elevator was a pivotal moment in the series. I think when I talk about movies punching their ticket and all that, I think this is where this movie now puts some solid weight behind everything that has been happening. These are two technologically advanced builds or models that their owners and employers want to pivot from, and we are seeing it. Cavalier has already pivoted from a robot he has succeeded in transferring human consciousness into purely synthetic bodies. For Wayland Yutani, they are going after aliens. They've already gotten one, but unfortunately, Cavalier stole it from them. And Cavalier is not even content with breaking out from the mode of just doing robots. He has done humans to robot bodies, and now he has also taken command and control of the aliens that were gotten from the Wayland Yutani spaceship. So, like, there are two ownership companies are striving and fighting hard to go after the next big technological boom, and these two guys are like basically the old relics, fighting and trying to keep their space, or just trying to just do what it is they were programmed to do. And in the case of Cases, I don't know what he's actually programmed to do. Is he just basically programmed to serve Prodigy in his entirety, or is there something more particular about him? Because the way he's been acting throughout this series, it seems there is something in his coding that we have not figured out. It seems there is something in his coding that we have not figured out, because if he was truly coded to be a loyal soldier of Prodigy or a loyal soldier of Cavalier, I don't think he's been acting in his best interest, except to show us the true reviews later. But he's been acting real selfishly and doing things that we do not think are in full glory of Prodigy, basically. So for these two guys, technologically advanced builds, realizing, I think this is the moment they both realize that they are working for two companies and two employees that want to pivot from them. They are going to be relics, news of yesterday, rendered obsolete and all that, and yet they are still fighting each other for just supremacy to see who is better. And when Moro said that he will see Kesh soon, I think was that being literal, or was that just being metaphorical? Because Moro is planning to invade or sneak into the Prodigy compound, and most likely he's going to meet Kesh there. So when he said see him soon, I think that's a foreboding. Is a harbinger of things to come, basically. Now, when he's still talking to the Xenomorph, we are seeing it growing at a very fast growth rate, as we all know Xenomorphs do. Nibs got her memory wiped by Dame Sylvia, and I think this is where Wendy realizes that this is not a yes place, as she was telling her brother Hermit, because she has been thinking probably she has found some paradise, some utopia of science and discovery and innovation based on what Cavalier has been telling her. But now she's seeing that if things don't go as planned, there is a backup of getting your memory wiped. And it's happened to Nibs, and Nibs doesn't even know what has happened. She's basically a blank state, wiped, taken back to several days, like several weeks even. And now, like, Wendy's realizing slowly, maybe she'll come around to her brother wanting her to escape the Prodigy territory. Maybe she won't. But I think this is a good shock to the system for her, because everything is not all rosy. It's not just a happy-go-lucky talk to Xenomorphs, talk to monsters and aliens, and you think the guy that brought them here is some good person. Maybe this will change her mind in how she acts or how she reacts. And I'm thinking probably she might switch to the side of the Xenomorphs or of the monsters. I think that's something that can or could happen, because if she can talk to these guys and she can communicate with these guys, only heaven knows what they are saying. I don't think Cavalier or Kesh or anybody actually knows what is actually really going on. All they know is that she's keeping the Xenomorph calm because she can communicate with it. But they do not know what exactly she has been saying, or why they are saying it, or what they are planning. So I'm thinking there's a possibility that she might be on the side of Xenomorphs in times to come. This series unraveling faster and faster. Things have happened in this episode that make me believe that full-blown chaos is right around the corner, and we'll have to see what is Wendy's reaction to that and the reaction of every other person to what I think will be a crazy and a mad experience. Now, for Arthur and Dame Sylvia, the couple who I thought were not even coupled up until a few episodes ago, they have been ultimately split after Arthur refused a direct order and Dame just took it up without any qualms. And when she learned her husband was fired, there was no even real attempt to protest or even beg for reconsideration or something. She just, okay, he has been fired and that's it. And he was going to leave the Prodigy territory and everything, and she will still be there. And I don't think there's any real love between these guys. If there was any romance within them, I think it was bond off, it was broken off decades ago, months or years ago or something. I think whatever led them to get married is no longer a binding force within these two guys. Because her reaction here and him acting, maybe he's the only one who thinks they are still in love or something. But her reaction did not show a woman who was concerned about her husband losing his job or something. It was like, let him even go. It's like good riddance. She was like, I think for her, the science and everything, the technology and experiments and everything they are doing at Prodigy is probably more important than her marriage. Maybe that's how the way she sees it. Now, Slightly was getting pressured by Muro up until the point he finally cracked and went to ask Hermit to join him and escort him to the lab to go and see something. And look at the way he was acting. I mean, this is a kid. He cannot dissemble. He's basically acting the best way he knows how. And You can see it on his face. Maybe slightly, maybe Helmet won't notice it because he's the one talking to him. But for an outside viewer, you can see it on his face that something is incredibly wrong, and he cannot even present his case properly. Now, Helmet got saved once again, and I've been predicting his death. I predicted his death like after episode 1 or 2, my first review. And for the for the fourth or fifth time in this movie now, Helmet has gotten saved from sure death. And I'm asking now, is this luck or was this an instruction by Kesh to this security guy to go and get Helmet to join the patrols? Because Kesh has been watching everything on the camera. He hasn't really intervened, like I said before. And now seeing this one, knowing this was the setup for Helmet to get impregnated by the Xenomorph. Was this intervention done by Kesh to get the security to go and get Helmet out of Slightly's plans, or was this just luck again on the side of Helmet? We do not know. I don't think that was shown to us in this episode, but this is another question I'm asking. Is Helmet just that lucky, or was this a special intervention from Kesh? Now, as for Isaac, our namesake of Isaac Newton, he discovered his strength in pulling off the door of one of the cages for the animals kept in the lab and in the zoo, whatever they call it. And in the process, his carelessness, his forgetfulness, his inexperience showed, because trying to feed a monster through a hole and you find out that the hole cannot open and you decide to open the main door. These are not your normal benign monsters or even an animal from Earth where you know all its capabilities. This is an acid spitting bug. I don't know where or how. I don't think they've not shown us this one before. He opens the cage to serve it personally, as if these are prisoners or things that you can trust. That these are basically unpredictable alien species with whatever diseases and whatever attitudes or whatever environmental behaviors that they carry from their own planet. And this is a kid basically in an adult body, and seeing him in an adult body, who might be prejudiced to judge him in that adult body, but this is a kid in a lab with maybe a brain too big for, like, he's basically got academical knowledge but not situational environmental knowledge that comes with growth. So like he's basically just doing everything a kid would do, and not just any kid, a kid who has no regard for safety or something. And unlike Isaac Newton, who died in his sleep, this Isaac got a harsh welcome. Not even a harsh welcome, a harsh end, if this is his end, because the insects spewed some acid on his face and they ended up eating him. And now I'm asking, is this it for him? Does his brain have a backup somewhere? Because this is billions of dollars worth of research, and if everything about him is in this body, then Kabele, I think you're several $1 billion short of whatever your net worth is. Billions of dollars in research, experiments, and whatever in one body, in a child who you allowed to play around in your pet zoo or your lab or whatever you call it, and now billions of dollars is gone. So if his brain doesn't have a backup, then one of your prototypes is permanently gone. That's just it. And now another thing is Theocelos. Was he once again trying to warn Isaac, or was he deliberately disrupting and startling him when he entered the cage? Because this will be the second or the third time Theocelos is trying to save a human from disastrous actions or disastrous creatures. And I'm asking, was that when he had butted the cage, was that a deliberate action to warn Isaac, or was he just doing something else? So Theocelos, like I said before, you have some explaining to do, and yet in another episode I find you in questionable places, making questionable actions that I do not really know how to interpret your intentions. Are you a good creature with a crazy behavior, or are you just something else we have not really figured out? That's where we are right now with Theocelos. And once Out of God fired, his role in this movie had partially, not even partially, but totally ended. And I wasn't surprised to see that he would be the one to get impregnated by a Xenomorph. Now for Arush, or Slightly, depending on which name you get to call him, I think when I say this, I think I can say this in full confidence, that me and my family, we are now members of the Anti-Slightly fan club. And for those of you who are still undecided, I think it's time for you to pick up your membership forms at your earliest convenience, because I don't know, everything he has done in this series so far has been foolhardy. He has been, but again, this is a kid. trusting in the security of the adults around him, and he's been thrown into a very, very crazy world. He's been doing things he has no knowledge about. He's been manipulated by the adults at every single corner, and now getting the Xenomorph to impregnate and lay an egg in Arthur's body. This is basically top of the list for like craziness. Every other thing he has done is basically child's play compared to this. And we can see it on his face. He's conflicted. He's scared, but his family is threatened outside by Moro, and on the inside, he has to pick someone else, any human at all, to get impregnated by a Xenomorph. Unfortunately for Arthur, he was the chosen recipient. So now another thing I'm going to ask is, what if the Xenomorph in Arthur's body is a queen? Because I recently read an Alien What If comic which explored an idea if Buck from the Alien, I think that was Alien 2, if Buck had survived the Xenomorph and everything that happened on that planet, if Buck had survived and gotten out and got into a different planet, basically. The main theme of that was they got a Xenomorph egg and they thought it was just going to be a normal Xenomorph, which would take at least 2 days or some days to hatch and burst out of its chest. And because it was a queen, it burst out within it, like it gestated and developed within hours and burst out of the chest of the hapless victim. So I'm asking now, what if this one is also a queen, and a queen is the one in charge of basically making other Xenomorph eggs and like creating the whole colony? If this is a queen that slightly has taken into the vents, I think we are going to have some serious problems in the coming episodes. Because Moro is saying that he has to keep him in the vents for a day or two. Then Moro will come and claim the body whenever he has a chance to sneak into Prodigy territories. But if this is a queen, then everything Moro is planning is basically not going to work. And it's just going to be complete, like it's going to be crazy from now on. It is going to be crazy from now on. Now, Smee has been the only one among the kids who has been totally free of any encumbrances, any problems, any behavioral tendencies that are not well aligned to the child's mind. He has been happy, he has been jollying it up, he has been basically problem free. He has been enjoying his childhood. He's the only one in this series who has been enjoying from beginning to end. Every other person is preoccupied with new problems, trying to do other things. But Smee has been a child basically, and he's been like, I can't blame him for it. Who the hell wants to get into adult problems and adult issues and whatever it is that comes with adulthood, when you can basically play around your life and just be free as a bird for like at least the time being? Because things will start getting serious to a point you have no choice but to get involved. But like, he's the only one who has been enjoying his time totally for the entirety of the series, and I think I rate it from him because growing up is hard and adult problems are like really, really hard. Now for Kabelia and Kesh, they are coming back. Kabelia he's feeling victorious, he's feeling exhilarated, he's feeling happy. He has just gotten $20 billion worth of damages and extra time to play around and experiment with alien tech that he has stolen from Weyland-Yutani, and he thinks everything is kosher, everything is good back home. And now is when you question Kesh about it, and Kesh told him everything was fine. Like I said before, what is Kesh's end goal? What is Kesh's end goal? Is it because these new creatures are going to take his place? He's somehow jealous or somehow bitter seeing it? Like the new creatures, these are the synthetics. Like synthetics now, the kids in synthetic bodies. Is he jealous of them, and is he angry maybe in a way that these are the guys who are going to replace him? So he's just going to quietly watch them fail and make mistakes at every turn? Or is there something else? Is he a different agenda? Is he an outside spy or something? These are the questions we are still asking as of Alien Earth episode 6. And I think when I asked the question before that, are we going to get full-blown chaos or gradual chaos? It seems the producers and the directors have gone with the second option, because we are on the way to full-blown chaos. We are halfway there. The monsters in the cages have almost gotten loose. The bugs from episode 5, those bugs that sucked blood, I don't think they were accounted for by either Prodigy or Weyland-Yutani. I think this Prodigy, because Prodigy is the one in charge, he was taking care of the ship. I don't think those bugs are accounted for anywhere. And now we are seeing a new monster that spits acid. Theocelos is still locked in his cage. The Xenomorph is out, not really out, but it's going to come out sometime soon. It is going to come out sometime soon. One of a Prodigy staff member is dead. Not really dead, but the Xenomorph in your belly is basically dead. The $1 billion prototype, synthetic prototype, is dead. And Theocelos has been watching everything quietly from the confines of his cage. So these are where things stand as of now in episode 6 from Alien Earth. This is still the bootleg god on the bootleg corner. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, to share, and all that stuff. Keep it locked in, and I'll be back.